Hey, engineering and robotics, here we go. We're going to talk about OnShape today. OnShape is free. OnShape is online. OnShape is usable on the Chromebook. OnShape is a powerful tool, and OnShape is affiliated with the robotics competition you're doing. There's a specific award they sponsor. What a coincidence. All right, here we go. You're going to need to create an account. It's free. It's simple. Do it. Create the account. You're going to log in, and you're going to see something similar to this. All right. Couple things to look around. So you've got your OnShape created, what you've created, teams you're on. We can create the teams within the robotics public. You can search anybody's creations on here. Okay. You can see I've got helping somebody with a science fair. We've got different robot things for this year. I've got folders for all the companies and the parts they make. We'll talk to you later about how to get those and access to those so you can just grab these things. Learning Center. Learning Center is your friend. We're going to bring it up in a new tab. Hope it loads quickly enough. Learning Center is awesome. All right. Short 2-minute video and then do and practice what you just learned. Another 2-minute video and practice what you just learned. And it steps you through all sorts of things to learn the fundamentals and learn the basics. It can show you just as fast or better than I can. It's going to miss fewer things than I will. Self-paced courses, learning pathways. Plus, there's just help. There are questions and help in the Learning Center, and there are just questions and help back in regular OnShape you can use also. Hey, look, OnShape Fundamentals of CAD. Miller's done it. OnShape Basics. Miller's most of the way through that one, and I've paused here. You can just click all the learning pathways, fundamentals, part studios, how to work through all of these. You want other self-paced courses? Here you go. There are all of these things in the learning pathway that you can use. Big help. Big help. All right. So you're back. You're at your dashboard essentially. Let's hide this. Let's get that out of the way. We're going to create. You can import here. We're going to create a document. Everything's housed in a document, and we're going to just call it test. All right. This is going to make a document, and if you are familiar with other CAD systems, they all have their little intricacies. They all have different things. Here you go. This is the basic screen. You have part studios and you have assemblies down here. Okay, assemblies over here. We just clicked. It's going to load an assembly. There's nothing there. You make a part. You create it 3 or 4 or 1 or however many part studios you need. Make all the parts. You can make 3 parts in one studio, or you can make 5 parts over 5 studios. Doesn't matter. Then you would open an assembly, you bring all the parts in there, and then you construct the thing. You can even get it to move and constrain the movements in the assembly. We're going to start with the part studio today. When you do CAD, 2 ways to think about it. Machining and removing material. I have a block of wood, and if I want to make a cylinder, I'm going to put it on the lathe, and I'm going to take all the corners off and bring it down to a smooth cylinder. Or you can think of it as building up material, the way maybe a 3D printer. You would start with a circle and then extrude it visually upward to come out to a cylinder. All right? Either way you think of these things, you've got to understand how to manipulate the shapes on here to get it to do what you want. All right, from this base screen, you're not doing anything. All of these are 3-dimensional operations up here across the top. This is your cube. You can click top. You can click top. We can click top one more time. There we go. And it works. And you click this back corner and it spins it. And you click right. And now that I'm on the right, I click and it turns it. And then I click that corner and it brings me back to this view. All right. There are ways to navigate these views over here. You can view or hide these planes in the imagery. You can hide and show the origin or not show the origin. All of those things, this is just standard view. All right, sketch. Sketch is where you start. You draw something in 2D and then you manipulate it in 3D. You'll either make a hole into it or draw and drag it out. All right, so we're going to make a sketch and it's going to say right here, it's this blue, it's going to say sketch plane. So you come over here and you pick top. And now that's selected. Well, if you want to view it from the top, you actually click top. Now, if you look, all of these tools look different because these are 2D drawing tools. I'm going to grab a circle, one left click, I'm going to start in the middle, and I'm going to draw this out. And then I'm going to make this 0.05. That is 5 millimeters, or 5 centimeters. Circle is still selected. If I click and drag, it's going to make another circle. If I even if I'm hovering over something, it will make another circle. If I deselect that, now I've got a cursor, and now I can adjust. This is just a label. I can take that and I can move it out, I can move it in, I can move it around. Doesn't matter. When I said 5 centimeters, why is it 5 centimeters? Over here, workspace units, you'll click that, open. I know that I'm in meters. So 0.05 is 5 centimeters. I'm in degrees, and I'm in kilograms. All right. So whatever you want is fine. Now, I'm going to go back. I accidentally, by clicking that, I left the sketch. All right. So I'm back in the sketch. I'm going to make a square here. I'm going to start in the middle, and I'm going to go out, out, out. And then you see how the circle got highlighted, and there is a connecting shape over here. I'm going to click right there. This shape right here means that they're coincident. They are connected. They touch. All right. What's highlighted right now is the size of this. So if I just type one number, 0.015, I'm going to click that. It locks the side of this length in because I said it had to touch. This other side was already defined. It can't be anything different. So if I deselect that and I move this down, because you'll notice that you've got all black lines on there, because we can zoom in, because everything is defined. If you just take a line out here and I draw that line's floating out in space. So is that one, and so is that one. They're not attached to anything. They have length, but they're not attached to anything. So if I undo those three, okay. Now I'm going to take and I'm going to draw a line from here, coincident, and back to the center. Done. Click once. Awesome. It made the line. A couple things you can do. Show constraints over here. That shows that those are all touching. Those are all touching. That's parallel. If you hold that parallel, you see the two that are in yellow. Those two things are parallel. These are perpendicular. This one's horizontal. All of those symbols have a meaning, and you can cause them. I can click any two things, and I can make them parallel or concentric or vertical, or you can change the constraints. Right here beside that is dimension. If I change the size of this circle, so let me get out of line. Let me go over here. If I double click that now, if I make this 0.06, it made that bigger. What else happened? This didn't change, but it got taller because it had to stay coincident. Okay? I like that sketch, so I'm going to accept it and click OK. And now that sketch is done. We're going to do one last thing here. I'm going to let me right click and drag, and you can see this is moving all around. Let's go to this view over here. Click. There we go. All right. So I'm going to extrude. That may be the first thing we want to work on. We're going to click extrude. I can make it a solid. That's where you're probably going to want to stay, or you can make it a surface, which would mean hollow on the inside. New. Well, the first thing you extrude has to be new. But if I extrude part of this and then I want to do it again, but I don't want them to connect to each other, I want them to be two separate parts, I would click and make the second one new instead of add it to the first one. So first of all, we're going to click new, and right now this is highlighted in blue. So what do I want to extrude? I want to extrude that circle. And this number pops up, 0.025. That's fine. It could be 2.5 centimeters. Up, if I click this, it changes the direction. Down, let's bring it back. And we're going to click OK. That's extrude 1. Extrude 1 did not like what's going on. Oh. Let's delete that. I'm having trouble in the middle of my video. Hold on. There's my sketch. My sketch is visible. I'm going to hit extrude. And I'm going to click that right there. 0.025, new. Blind is how it ends. That's fine. You can make it symmetric, so when it goes the distance, it goes halfway above and below. You can do all of these things. All right. Click OK. Hey, we're back. Real quick, the thing that this didn't like, it didn't like extruding right up to that point. If I undo this, it doesn't like how narrow that gets. That's red now. But if I add that and I'm going to extrude both of those things, it's okay. We'll talk about that and how to fix that in another video. That's extrude 1. There's my shape. Everything's good. Now we're going to extrude again. If I show the sketch, it'll be easier, and I can click that space, but I don't want it to do that. I want to go 0.05. I want to make it taller, and I can add it, or I can make it a new piece, or I could remove it from the 2. So let's add. It's kind of the default. Now it's one thing. It makes one part. If I click new, it's going to make a second part down here, which is this thing. That matters in the end and a little bit. So I do that, and now they are 2 separate parts that I can deal with. If I go back and edit extrude 2 and I click add, so now that they're one thing, this is now one thing in one color. All right. There's a lot we can do with this. That is the very basics of how you should log in, create an account, draw something, and practice your extrude skills. That's where we're at. All right, robotics guys, have a good day. Here we go.